Should you upgrade the neck plate on your bass or guitar? Well, to a certain degree, the answer is why not, right? It's your guitar, make it your own, go for it. There is a little bit of a disclaimer there. If you're a beginner um, and you're going to tackle this project, bear in mind that by removing the neck and putting the neck back on, not everything's going to be in the same exact 100% place that it was before you did that. So there are consequences to that. You may suddenly notice you're getting fret buzz. You may notice that at various places throughout the neck, it's not 100% within tune. So the reason for that is things have changed a little bit. So you may need to make some minor changes to your saddles on your bridge to adjust intonation and to adjust your action, and so that that would take care of, intonation would take care of the tuning not being 100% at all the various points on your neck. Adjusting the height of your action will affect um, whether or not you're getting fret buzz or not, and eliminating that. But also making adjustments to your truss rod will help with that as well. And all those are really sort of terrifying, daunting prospects for a beginner, especially, if the truss rod adjustments, you could damage that, you could break that. Don't be so afraid of it that you wouldn't try it, because adjusting the truss rod is necessary over time as the weather changes, temperature inside your house changes. You're going to need to make fine tuning to that in order to keep your just even over time. Um, the shape of wood changes. Therefore, you're going to need to make adjustments to your truss rod. So it's something, and every time you change your strings, you're going to need to make changes to your intonation. Um, as you get better and understand that those things affect your tone, and you need to make sure in tuning, and you need to make sure you're 100%, correct tuning wise. That's going to matter to you as you progress as a bass player, or just a guitarist. As a musician in general, you're going to need to learn how to fine tune your instrument. So eventually, so that becomes the why not part. Is eventually you're going to have to learn it anyways. You can make that argument. But if you're not quite ready to go run down that rabbit hole, then put this off. It's not quite for you just yet. If you have a really, really, really expensive $2,000 bass, this is not the first thing I would go out and do. I mean, you bought that bass for a reason. It came with the parts that it came with. That's what gives it some of its value. You might be taking away from the value by doing this. However, where this part is absolutely fabulous is if you're building your own bass from parts, or making your own parts, right? You're doing a totally custom bass. You're not going to have a neck plate. You probably don't have the ability to do the metalwork. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But even if you do, you're not gonna, probably not going to have the ability and machinery to get this awesome of a graphic. And in this case, you might think skull and crossbones. That's not my style at all. What do you mean awesome? Ugh. Well, he's got plenty. This particular seller, Mr. Rockin' Billy, um, he's got, that's his Rockin' Billy, all one word. That's his username on eBay. 9,000 feedback, 99.7% positive. And if you're thinking, well, what about that 0.3%? As someone who sold on eBay before, trust me, 99.7% is fabulous. There are things in this world you cannot control. He's getting nailed for things that he couldn't control, more than likely. Otherwise, he would have, way below that level of feedback. Getting that level high of feedback with people being the way they are, so the characters that are out there in this world on eBay, that is absolutely fabulous. So I like this particular design because in my case, I'm not building a guitar from scratch. I have taken a pawn shop find and upgrading it. Now, it could have just as easily been an old bass I had laying around that was having some issues, and I decided to turn it into a custom guitar. That's awesome for you too. So, but if I only had one bass, I would not be tearing it apart and turning it into a custom project, especially when it comes to the electronics and pickups. Um, you would be down for quite a while if you ran into problems. So if you have more than one bass, maybe you find a beat up thing at your local guitar center or whatever store you shop at, or at a pawn shop, and you want to totally customize it, just as a learning experience and a project for fun. This is a perfect way to learn how to do all those things on a bass that you need to do. Well, you've already got it torn apart. Why not put on something fancy? But this isn't the sort of thing like changing out the pickups is going to make it sound better. And it isn't the sort of thing like changing out your pick guard is going to make it look cleaner, because this is something that's between your gut and your armpit while you're playing, and and so nobody's really going to see it but you. So this is sort of a personal pride, personal customization. The overall look, right? You want to make a change, and for 25 bucks, it's sort of a why not. Maybe the one that came on your pawn shop one is totally scratched up. You want it to look pristine. He's got lots of themed ones that fit that. In my case, I just relic the hell out of the body, so scratched up would have looked fine. But this matches the skater punk theme that I'm going for better. So let's go ahead and take a look at his store, because I like his so much better than we'll look at some of the other sellers. I'm not knocking these guys, but those logos and those graphics don't appeal to me as much as this graphic. So let's look at some of his other stuff here. He's got, oh, and this full name of the store if you're going to Google him. And why am I showing so much love to him? I've ordered from him before. I like his products. And if you're going to do this, his seem to be the best quality, both graphics wise and materials wise out there. So why not give that love and shout out to somebody who's been a good seller for me and a good source of products for me. So Rockin' Billy's Guitar Parts. You could probably Google that and his eBay store would come up. Neck plates, the themes 50s sci-fi, 50s horror, 50s pinup girls. You notice the theme 50s a lot. He's not just limited to that, but that's what I'm immediately seeing, and that's sort of a common theme for fixing up guitars. A lot of guitar guys go for that 50s feel. Religious stuff, whole lots of themes, of various themes of the custom theme. Color schemes on these are basically the metal is either stainless looking steel or gold looking steel or brass. He calls it gold. So chrome, sorry, is the color that he calls them, or gold. 70s or early 80s, maybe like that could be either new wave or that could be like disco, pinup girl type thing. Sexy girl jokes, making fun of the fact that we're fat and that a bass gives you fat tone, all in one. Cowgirl themed, lots of Americana themes, science fiction again, Western themes, in particular. This could either be 70s or, not. The whole Bengal tiger motif is very kung fu, 70s, Bruce Lee type stuff. There's yin and yang symbols, again, more of the custom theme, more religious stuff. And this is just one of 5 pages. Hollywood, more than like pinup girl, but Hollywood starlet theme, more pinup girl, while incorporating the custom. Americana eagles, religious, cross, more custom shop theme. So you name it, he's got something that's probably going to work for you and fit your theme. I won't go through all 5 pages. Just wanted to show that he's got lots of cool stuff. He's got pick guards with similar type stuff, lots of graphics and stuff on it. Not just for the 50s, but for a wide range of things, not just pinup girls, all sorts of stuff. So he's got cool products. That's Rockin' Billy's Guitar Parts. Great source to get neck plates. Should you decide to go down that road, this is one of those recommended and not recommended all at the same time. So I got no problem with it. Just bear in mind, it's purely cosmetic, so it's a want. It's not a need. But I'm perfectly fine with fulfilling those wants. And not everything needs to be a need to do it. But again, if you're building your own from scratch, you're not going to have a neck plate. So then it becomes a need to get a neck plate. Why not get something that's cosmetically fits a theme of whatever and make it a themed style base? Okay. Thank you much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Please comment. Definitely say, no, this is a terrible idea, or I bought from the seller and I wasn't happy. Feel free to say that. Just as importantly, say I bought from this seller and they are awesome, or I bought from other sellers and they're awesome. Because the purpose of this video is if somebody's watching it, they're probably thinking about doing this. So share your experiences in this process. That will be very, very helpful for them. Don't just watch and run, contribute. Let's make this, let's make YouTube in itself as a community help people out by offering your opinions, suggestions, experiences. We all appreciate it greatly. Again, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. All three help us considerably.